I recorded myself. Don't worry. Yeah. Okay. Can I eat something? I'll mute myself. Okay.
啊，那你还那个，
你也录，对，
我好像你录了的话，这边就不能录了吧？
不可能啊，
看一下。
两边都可以录。
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
哎，
can still record it. Yeah.
好，对，我先吃点菜叶子。
大家再稍微等一下哈，我去叫一下。
Don't worry. All right. I saw a lot of new friends, old friends. Thank you so much. Um, I do need a feedback from people. Give me some ideas. The reason is I want to present one of present one same content to one summit in a few weeks. That's why I need some feedback. Okay. Thank you.
你的这个是要在哪儿 present 呀，教官
West Coast, Washington State, 还有 San Jose. Yeah.
？OK，
Okay. Oh, let me see. All right, shall we start?
sure. Hold on.
I'll start sharing so you can record. Okay, you can kick off.
Uh, All right, I believe it's recording already. Okay, all right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Kappa Nova event. 欢迎大家来到我们 Kappa Nova 平台。在进入今天的主题之前，我想花1分钟时间，快快的介绍一下我们 Kappa Nova。Kappa Nova stands for Chinese American Parents Association of Northern Virginia，中文是北维华裔家长协会。We are a nonprofit organization. We started back in 2021, and over the past 5.5 years, we have delivered more than 2,000 different topics and seminars for our community. And as everybody know, we have financial literacy program throughout the year. And Coach Mike has been our key producer and leader on this particular program. And this is a monthly seminar. And this month, we are presenting you with a special presentation, and it is titled Family Wealth Summit Buy, Borrow, Build. Use tax-free life insurance policy loans to build business. All right, without any further ado, I'm going to give the stage to Coach Mike. Coach Mike,
Thank you.
stage is yours.
Sure. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Capanova. It's been a great season to talk about this topic because I constantly work on the wealth management. In next few weeks, I'm going to present, one of the probably most important life insurance wealth summit. People, if you want to go to this two events, one's in Washington State, close to Seattle, the other one is San Jose. Let me know. I can ask Steve Parisi to give you the pass because it normally costs a few $100 to get in. But anyway, it's happening in July, and let me know if you happen to be West Coast. All right, today I'm going to present the same slides. The reason I want to get feedback from people, my current clients, my friends, or any people want to help me to improve. All right, so I'll get started. Again, the topic is how to use policy loans to buy real estate and to build your S corp, and without losing the tax-free compounding and also build your wealth. So that's why I call it buy. You buy asset, meaning life insurance. You borrow from out of it, and then you build small business, build real estate portfolio, and just have a legacy planning. That's how rich people do because they don't pay tax. Is all the strategy is called SMART. SMART stands for, that's why I call it SMART 1040. SMART stands for strategies to master or maximize assets and reduce tax. Because when you have an assets portfolio, you can borrow out of it. It's a loan that never pay interest. When you use a loan to build a portfolio, and that could be deduction because you're putting the money into business ventures, into real estate flipping, that kind of income can deduct the expenses called the loan borrowing cost or interest expense. That's whole strategy, right? You can do so many things. Again, this is my credentials. I just want to have a disclaimer because my employer does not endorse anything for me. I'm just a personal view, give you tax planning. If you want to, I do not recommend any stocks, any options, or any financial instruments. If you want to buy these products, go to licensed people. All right, that's just my disclaimer. Again, today we talk about 5 topics. First one is what is a buy, borrow, build? I'll give you some ideas. Second is how can you use policy loans from cash value whole life insurance to buy rentals and to deduct depreciations and other expenses. And then third one is probably, and this is the most important thing that is called in the AI stage, we call it a one-person company, right? 一人公司. So now you have a core skill set. You can use policy loan to help you to build software, AI, algorithm, even buy business property in order to launch your business. So use policy loan to build S corp and deduct from your business. And then there is one or two very recent tax courses regarding court cases regarding life insurance. There are some violations I want to share with you because you got to do it right. Because recently there were 2 courses, court cases come out. I want you to pay attention. This is fresh from the tax court. Last one, the Q&A. All right, this is 5 topics. Again, what is BBB? I'm writing a book from based on my tax consult. That's why this book is going to share all my strategies with 30 different case studies. So we try to publish this book in early January. Later on, my daughter Alicia, she's my co-author. She's going to share from young people's perspective how to learn buy, borrow, build. On the left side this is called the trifecta, right? Everybody know this Mark J. Kohler. He's a tax attorney. He designed this concept called the trifecta, meaning there are 3 buckets or 3 pillars. On the left side is active income, meaning your W-2 job, and your S corp, meaning you are materially participating in that. You build stuff. You're putting time, effort, and sweat and sweat in it. That is the direct income. You can issue W-2, 1099, etc. Then the middle called the portfolio income. You invest into financial assets, you grow. That one, I I think I need to tell you is we need to have a brokerage account. And brokerage account, you can borrow a loan out of it. That's called what? SBLOC, Securities Backline Credit. This loan is good because you can backed by S&P 500 or backed by Warren Buffett stock, which is Berkshire Hathaway. Both have different ups and downs. You can borrow certain loans, you buy rentals, you can deduct, perfectly fine, legal, okay? Just need a trail of money. Then this one is a 401k block, K block. We all understand in a 401k you can borrow $50,000 uh, to call a non-purpose loan to do anything. If you borrow from a company, normally they charge you a prime rate, which is 6 to 7%. But you have urgency, you want to pay taxes from IRS, you can borrow a loan because you'll pay back the loan at 7%. This is your 401k, so you don't feel money go elsewhere, go back to your pocket at the 7% compounding. It's still worth it. Or you can have a solo 401k and you can take out a $50,000 loan from the solo K. Same concept. If a husband and wife both have 401ks, regular 9 to 5 job, or they both have a small business, they have S Corp, then suddenly you can have $50,000 times 4. You have a liquidity, immediate liquidity up to 200K. You can do a lot of stuff, right? That's why I call the K block. This was a home equity debt service coverage loan, all-in-one loan. I think my friend and my brother Fred Williams, he's also writing this chapter for me, contributing one chapter called the Debt Service Coverage Loan, and this book is going to contain his skill set and expertise. Then all these accounts you talk about HSA, 529, Coverdell, Trump account, whatever. Now today I'm going to talk about this blue bucket, the green bucket, which is what? Cash value, meaning you borrow loan from life insurance to buy rentals, to buy escrow. And trust at the bottom, family bank at the bottom, family foundation bottom. So this is the complete vision board for a family. If you want to have multiple source of income, multiple liquidities, this is probably give you a synopsis of everything you need and try to find out which part you're short you need to put in. Some people buy a lot of rentals, but no life insurance. That's the imbalance. So try to have a balanced approach, diversified approach. This is my philosophy for tax planning because you need something always rely upon, right? So tax bracket, we all understand young people have low bracket, many high income people have a high bracket. A lot of people, I have a client, he's a Apple employee, got a lot of RSUs or restricted stock units. He paid 24% tax from W-2 withholding in the vesting period. When he sells stocks, Apple, he have a capital gain tax with the state California. So you are talking about pay twice, a lot of taxes. So definitely need strategies to oil, gas, to buy, borrow, build strategies. We can talk about that. But this tax bracket is important for young people and also for general people. For me, I believe we need financial resource to do three things. One is invest yourself. I constantly learn new things, buy new books, attending classes. So invest in yourself. Public speaking, always important. Then move on to invest in assets and invest into business. Invest in business as corp, LLC, partnership, you understand. But invest in assets, I will say you need some financial accounts grow. For instance, UTMA, IRA, 529, Trump account. So that's why I would say if you want to borrow money from your policy loan, you can invest in yourself. For instance, learn some training, get some skill set, or put in the money into different accounts, or put it to business. So I do not say you should use the money to pay wedding or borrow a loan to buy a Lamborghini or go to Vegas and pay a vacation. That's not good work. Why? That kind of loans is used last forever because there's no deductions. I would rather you put money into these three buckets. Invest yourself, industrial assets, and invest in business. You either get a deduction or get a cash flow compounding or value creation from these three buckets. Okay. All right. So that is my suggestion. Now, this is part, it's very hard to understand. I need to give you a little bit, I call the IRS tax rule. The one rule relevant to buy borrow bill strategy is what called the interest tracing rule. IRS said as long as you put your borrowed money into income producing ventures or real estate, as long as you can show you are, actively materially participate, not passive, and you can deduct the interest, the policy loan interest from your business. So that is the most beautiful part because you borrow loan, you pay interest to new your life, but where's your interest come back? Because your business or your rental and start to pay you interest, you use that offset or wash your policy loan interest. So that's a full cycle. But IRS said you need to have four different possibilities or the scenario. One scenario is one is if you invest yourself, you can get some tax benefits if you put into 529, right? Because 529, you get a state income credit. At least you get something. That's about it. If you borrow from policy to invest to second bucket interest into business, that is probably the most advantageous treatment, fully deductible. Because IRS said, oh, you borrow a loan, you build a business, hire people, make a profit, buy equipment. That's good. So that one is most straightforward, most audit defensible strategy is put into business. That's why everybody should think of a one-person company, set up a entrepreneurial venture to grow. Right? This is so important because with AI, it's hard to your job may be displaced or replaced. Who knows, right? Now the third bucket is capital assets. In this one, I can only think of a few things you can one, you borrow from life insurance, you buy land or you buy oil and gas. That one you can get uh, some tax treatment because the oil and gas can produce depletion cost called IDC, right? Intangible drilling. That is a good strategy. Or you can buy crypto, but now crypto is pretty shabby, so don't worry about that. Or some people, why not HSA? I think this is another good idea. Buy health savings account because you borrow loan from policy, then you put into HSA, you get an immediate the income reduction up to $8,500 per family, right? That one can give you tax refund because this good refund. You use the refund to pay back the loan. So that is a strategy. The last one is rental property. This is very limited because it's passive, so be careful. So today I'm going to talk two examples. One is for rental, how to deduct. The other one is business, how to deduct the policy loan. All right. That is my give you the financial framework, how to borrow money and where to invest. So this one is I should patent this. I put into your wealth into four different buckets, and all the accounts on the top. You have the UTMA, Roth IRA put into Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, and 401k, Family Foundation, IOL, Index 529, Index with the S&P 500, and even Trump account. Whole life, this is today's topic. You can borrow loan out of it and the real estate rentals. I think I give you the past 50, 60 years of the returns. If you can see, home price has been up, 5%. S&P is what, 10%. Warren Buffett stock is 19%. And Cashway Life Insurance is gardening is 7%. Again, this is gross yield. You have to take out the fees. I think S&P, the fee is very little. Warren Buffett stock fee is not much, but the whole life, they have a cost of insurance, right? They have a admin cost. So roughly your net return on the life insurance is about 5%. But why I share it with you, this is the perfect example, the financial crisis during 2008. That's why when if I had relived my time 20 years back, if I have this strategy, what I do, I'm going to borrow policy loan from the Guardian or New York Life. I purchase rentals because at that time, foreclosures, REO, right? So many houses in relatively good condition, but the people just cannot afford to pay the mortgage. And you are buying at a market low because market's been down for 4 years. Can you imagine if you put the money at a time and now all the rentals has been double the value, and you can use this kind of policy loan to get immediate cash liquidity to purchase at low price. Same thing, you can do that to buy S&P. You can do Roth conversion. You can do put the money into stock market, buy low. That's probably the most I call the classic example in policy. That's why policy loan give you such a flexibility to buy stuff and deduct because you want to claim your financial the what do you call it depreciation cost from rentals. Um, I think if you look at the life insurance, probably it's the most isolated assets. They only have 10% correlations with what? With Berkshire Hathaway. They only have 2% correlation with S&P, and the house price is even negative, and the Bitcoin. So my point is, we need to have at least a 20 to 25% of your value, family wealth, in the cash value in life insurance. Why? Because this this kind of this kind of a financial assets, it's always give you 5 to 6 return per percent positive return tax free because cash value life insurance is tax free. In the meantime, they have a almost unrelated performance with other stuff. This is your dry powder. You just use this loan to buy opportunistically at the market low, and you just compound much faster. And in the meantime, you don't have to deal with the banks because they ask you so many different, intrusive questions and the request. So that is why life insurance policy is one of the four key financial assets you should consider. Now let's talk about how can I deduct the loan interest from the rental, right? Let's take a look. So we all understand that is IRS said you have 5 ways to deduct rental losses from or rental from your tax returns. Only 5, based on my view. Maybe people have different one. The first one is what? It's very irregular or unusual, which is why you sell the rentals. Why do that? Let's say I have 5 rentals, I sell one, have a large capital gain. That capital gain can offset all my unused carry forward rentals for all the other 4 or 5 properties. That's one way you can reduce tax. And if you still have a lot of gains, what do? You can sell some lousy stocks. For instance, you purchased the Best Buy the stock. It's been very dismal performance. What do? You sell that, you make a loss, and you can use the gain from house to because they kept the assets. That's one way. That one pretty much you can recapture all the losses. But the problem is you have to pay depreciation recapture tax. That's 25%, up to 25%. That's why I would say you can do it, but not super efficient because you have to pay tax to the IRS over the so many years of depreciation, right? The second one I found is very good for retirees is what? If your AGI is below 150 or below $100,000, even better, you can deduct $25,000 losses every year, so you don't lose any deduction. Why this is important? If I'm retired, I should not overdraw from my 401k. I should look at I can borrow policy loan to pay my living expenses during retirement to delay my Social Security benefits until age 70. So I artificially control my AGI below 100K, below $100,000. So I can use my rentals to offset my income. I get a refund. I get a senior credit, $6,000, and I use my refund to pay back my loan. So this one is buy borrow bill. Not only can buy houses, but also can manage your AGI down to enjoy so many uh, tax benefits, including Medicare, the IRMA. Remember the surcharge, right? The part D IRMA. I want to even part C. I want to use this strategy to buy, borrow, and retire. The third bucket is called short-term rental, Airbnb, VRBO. This you will understand because that one I will borrow loan from my policy. I buy a beach condo. I rent it out. I do cost aggregation. I produce a lot of losses. I said, as long as you rent to people with less than 7 days rent on average, and you can use this to offset your income, active income. That's why short-term rental is very powerful. When you have policy loan to help you buy rentals, even more powerful. Everything deductible. Number four is high bar, which is real estate professional. Tax court said you probably need at least six properties to be qualified to even consider. And also you cannot have W-2 because they have a very high 750 hours requirements. And also you cannot have any other career or profession more than real estate business. Most cases you can do it when you retire or you've been laid off, right? If Amazon laid you off, what do? You use loans to buy a lot of rentals and use rentals to claim real estate professional to offset your spouse income. Beautiful. Last one is self-rental. We'll talk about that. It's very rare, but I think it's powerful. It's meaning your business rent to your uh, commercial property, and you can offset the depreciation. That's a good strategy. I'll show you why. So I'm using software. This is a tax professional software called Drake. As you can see, Real Estate Professional is a selection C. If you select that, everything beautiful. Your interest can be deducted, bonus depreciation used, car, home office, right? Pay your child, all the things. And if you don't have that, you probably can rent into, do you see self-rental? Uh, the bucket three is a vacation short-term rental. So pretty much in my current situation, I've seen people use real estate professionals, or they can do VRBO, or they can do land, they can do self-rental. That's my personal experience. Royalties, oil, gas. Okay. All right. So this is the loop. Probably everybody can stand, assuming, let's say, my client, he has 20 properties. He said, Mike, I'm overqualified. Yes. Do you have life insurance? Yes. So do you want to buy good property? Yes. How do you do that? You take a loan from New York Life and you acquire property and you claim 750 hours, right? You have to, this is number three is a very high criterion to pass. And you can deduct cost aggregations, all the stuff, and you offset your other income, and you get a refund, you pay back the loan. That's how you recycle. And the key thing is you need to have I call it a clear audit trail. Money come from policy loan, go to your rental banking account, and you rent it out, the lease come back, the lease money pay back your policy loan. So you have the full cycle. Make sure you have clear money trail. Okay. And I think that is the real estate part. I might pause a little bit. Any questions for real estate if you want to uh, use policy loan? Any suggestion? Have people used this strategy to borrow loan to buy rentals at a low price? Anybody? All right. If yes, text me. Okay. I think I want to see how people use it. I think it's a very powerful strategy if you have these conditions, short-term rental or real estate professional status. Okay, but I'm going to move on to the next one. It's very, I call it a powerful tool is S Corp. This is I think yeah, we are building this AI era, how to launch your small business. Remember we have this class?
Mhm.
Yeah, we using this for multiple scenarios. For instance, 3D printing, for instance, right? This is a big deal. Why? There are 25,000 papers regarding 3D printing for portable battery for drones, for robots. But only a handful of small business has been able to produce, um, you know, 3D printing battery. I mean, this is a huge business because so many robots, so many drones, right? We need this. And I wanted you to think of 3D printing is another big growth area. For instance, let's say I'm laid off by the Amazon or whatever. I said I'm going to build my own business. I think 3D printing is good because I have engineer background. My son also is computer scientist. Why not we do together? So you put the four policies into your portfolio because I always you if you go to any Steve Parisi's workshop, these four policies, life insurance companies are pretty much the most reliable, high quality, guaranteed income type of work because they're all there. They've been around for 180 years. Dividend 5% are very stable. Uh, I would say you create pledged policies into a bank. I use Bancorp, for instance. This concept is what you create an artificial wall between your policy and your business. So you just have this I call the de facto lending arrangement between the bank and your business. Why? IRS love this because when you get audited, they'll say, "Oh, where's the money come from?" From Bancorp. They love that because they think you get a loan from the bank. But nobody, I don't even know IRS have smart enough to say what loan you are, what kind of a collateral, what kind of a loan people, because people get a loan from SBA loan, right? They can get a loan from personal line credit, even the credit card Amex, American Express now offer a loan. I get a quote 9% of the fixed rate loan for 5 years. I can borrow up to $40,000. Oh, that's good. But can you imagine if you get audited from your S corp, you show the IRS, the loan is come from Bancorp, so no question asked. So that's why you want to have this kind of the middleman to these to disaggregate your policy, life insurance policy with your business. Why is that? Just audit proof is make it safer, make it look cleaner. So policy loan in my Bancorp situation, my rate is 5.75%. It's not cheap, but if my life insurance Guardian give me 5 or 6%, my loan is charging me for bank charging me 5.75%. But that interest I directly offset from my S corp because my S corp is going to pay me back the loan interest, and my effective borrowing cost is not 5.7. It's probably only 4%. Why? Because my tax bracket is 30%. So do you see the benefits? You borrow from the bank, you get a tax savings from the business interest deduction, and your cost of borrowing is lower than your life insurance compounding speed because life insurance comes at 5% tax free, and you have a 1% positive arbitrage. You can recycle forever. Beautiful. This is one way to say is as long as your life insurance compounding full speed, as long as you can deduct your life policy, bank loan interest from your business, and you have a win on both sides. You have your cake, you eat your cake and have a cake same time. So I'll pause here. You guys think this strategy works, but you need to be always be careful. How can you create a bulletproof plan? Make sure you get into all the trouble. Okay. I pause. You guys to think through this. Any feedback from people? Okay, chat about yeah, got it. So most people said um, one question I will say is the bank loan, Bancorp charged me 5%. Can I charge my SD, meaning 3D printing, S Corp, can I charge 10%? Can you do that? Guys, what do you think? Can you overcharge your business with the lending rate? Why? You said American Express rate is 9%. If you go to private lender, it's a 12%. So I take average, take 10%. If you can, if you are ever audited by us, you show this 10% business interest loan go to my S corp, it's based on the average of market, observation points, observable data points. I would say that's defendable. Why? Because if you go to other places, you have pay a lot more, right? You get a bank loan and you lend to yourself at a high rate because your business has risk. Business could fail, and you should charge risk premium. That's how business is. Why is it important? Because when you have a bank loan go to your S corp, you create a base. The base is for your S corp base. You have an equity base and debt base. Things get very complicated, but you need a good tax attorney, tax accountant to explain how the S corp base is designed, because the loan coming into your business create a base is a debt base, and you can use that base to absorb your losses from your 3D printing. Why have losses? Because when you have 3D printing, you need materials, you need to buy equipment, you need to buy a car, you need to pay your child, you need to buy software, you have what do you call uh, uh, the rental from other places. All the expenses, depreciations add up together. Highly likely the first couple of years you have loss, which is fine. But the loss is good loss. The K1 loss will come back to your 1040, offset your other income. Why you can use K1? Because you have base. Where base come from? From the bank loan. Do you see that? The S corp is so powerful. They not only give you tax deduction on the interest, but also create the S corp basis as a shareholder, and the base can be used to absorb your loss. Is a good loss. Your K1 loss is going to use that to offset your W2 income. You get a refund. Full cycle. And again, uh, things get complicated, but I want to just to tell you, if you want to do it, you need to have a couple of things. One is have a good, tax professional help you. Second is design a promissory notes, meaning you have a borrow agreement. Mike Nee lent $50,000 to 3D Printing LLC. So borrowing agreement have a long-term loan rate, uh, the what they call the in case of default, prepayment, all the clauses. You have my book have a template for you. I wanted you to use that as a way to what to show it's a legitimate, it's arm's length borrowing agreement from the bank, to my business. That's number one. Number two is what? Every month or every year or every quarter, you pay your the bank loan interest and the principal. You have to create, it's not a gifting, it's not an equity investment. Have a healthy flows of money, the interest pay back to the bank, principal pay back to the bank. You try to pay off in 5 to 7 years, depending on how profitable you are. And while you create a whole money flows, money into the business with a loan agreement, and your promise to pay back the loan, principal interest, based on a certain amortization table to the business. I think that's the one money flows. You need that, okay? And people said, what if I need more loans? You create another promise note, given that time market rate. So you have two loan schedules, okay? So what is the benefit to borrow money from permanent life insurance compared to borrow from mortgage company? Based on Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac underwriting criteria, if you have more than four rentals, most likely you will not get accepted anymore, because most loans have to go to Fannie Freddie underwriting criteria. That's why a lot of people have to use some other creative ways to bypass this. Why you can use private lending, you can go to high rate, you can use a debt service coverage loan portfolio. I think, Fred, are you there? Okay, what is debt service coverage loan? Why is it important for the multiple rental people, investors?
Uh, I'm here. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So for the debt service coverage loan, it doesn't depend on your income. It only depends on the property itself and the appraisal. So as long as it appraises for the amount that you're going to pay, and as long as the rent that the appraiser says it should take in for long-term tenants will pay at least 1 to 1.25 times what your principal and interest, taxes, and insurance will be per year, you can qualify for a DSCR loan. And really the only thing that most companies go by is your credit score, and some require some reserves in case emergencies pop up. And there's no limit to how many loans you can have, and there's specialized companies that do this. The only other drawback is usually it's about 1 point higher than it is for a traditional mortgage.
So meaning what, 7%, 8%?
Yeah, the one I had in December is a little over about 7.25. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that one is good. You can walk around the Fannie Freddie, but the problem is the rate is higher, 7%. If you borrow loan from life insurance is a 5.5%. It's still, some arbitrage. And also when people have a bad credit score, probably you have trouble with the bank. But the life insurance company, the loan, they don't check credit. They don't even check because their collateral is a policy. That's why, your credit is not that important. Maybe slightly important, but light pool, but not. They don't check your W-2 income. They don't check your return, tax return. They just quickly underwrite, and also we can recycle that. Okay, this is probably the most complicated strategy I can think of, which is IRS rental. I used AI to create this, very complicated, but I tell you, the key concept is, let's say I have a 3D printing business, or I have a dental, right? I have a doctor, I have a dental, whatever, and I want to scale. I want to build, I want to have a commercial real estate building hold my stuff, right? My equipment, my patients, whatever. So what you do is IRS said you can buy a commercial real estate property, and your business rent that property called a self-rental. Because on the left side, you're a landlord. On the right side, you have an S corp. You rent. What is important? You use the rent from business to pay. Number two is what? You can create depreciations from commercial real estate, and that depreciation is going to offset your dentist the profit. Do you see the power? You suddenly create another loop. Money stay within family. On the right side, you have property. On the right side, you have business, and you produce losses. You manufacture losses to absorb, to offset your income from your business, and use lower tax. Very powerful. But people said, I don't have time. I don't have money. Where the money come from? See, you can use life insurance, borrow a loan to build S corp, which I mentioned that in the prior slide, right? And also you can use secure line credit. You see, you can use S block, Berkshire Hathaway, S&P 500. You can collateralize or pledge your securities to get a loan from Schwab or Fidelity or E-Trade or Morgan Stanley. You use that to buy a rental. Do you see the power? And both interests can be deducted. One interest deduct from a commercial because commercial mortgage payback. The other interest deduct from S corp. So you use that to recycle. So you get two circles. One is your wealth building continues to recycle. Second is what? Your business absorbing losses from the depreciation. And you even have a child. You can have two 1099 to a child. S corp, S corp can pay your child W-2, and your rental can pay him 1099. He help you to clean the home office, power wash the wall, replace the AC filter. Do you see that? You can use this two different venues to pay your child. They can have Trump account, Trump IRA, a solo K, all things, Roth IRA, all that. So my point is, this probably the most idealistic situation. You leverage life insurance loans and leverage secure line credit and to buy rental and to build a business, depreciate each other, offset each other, and pay back loan. You just repeat the success. I'll pause here. It's big, complicated, but it's workable. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we have 10 minutes. I'm going to go through tax court cases. This case is, I think, is super important for people. This is our book, and if you want to buy, you can go to a website or you can talk to me. We try to publish in a couple of months. And Fred contributed one chapter. Thank you. My daughter Alicia, she also she's a life insurance agent, so she's writing a few chapters about life insurance loans. So if you want to do that, it will be two books. One book is all the different I call the strategies. The other one I have a 30, 25, 30 different case studies because too big. I want to split into two books. But anyway, it's you can prepay $49. We'll get autographed. All right. The court cases is 2025 last year. This is an interesting case. Guess you can go to tax court database, search 2025-10. I think this is very I call the landmark case for life insurance. People, there are so many things this guy did wrong, so we need to avoid. Okay. First of all, a few years back, uh, this this lawyer he purchased the life insurance policy against to his kids. So he had two policies, the lawyer, and Mass Mutual. And what he did is he borrowed loans out of his policy, which is all I understand. Then he made three mistakes. First of all, was what? He did not pay back the interest, meaning he just let the loan compounding against each other. So which is number one. When you get a borrow loan from life insurance, you pay back the interest, please. Also pay back the principal. You can restore the cash flow. You can ready for next rental. So this his first mistake is he didn't pay interest. The second mistake is what? He didn't pay premium to the Mass Mutual policy. So these really bring this policy very close to lapse because the liability is almost surpass the assets, the compounding. So that's why second mistake is what he just didn't. He's too lazy. He didn't pay. Do you see the balance compounding, right? And then the third mistake he made is what? He said, "I want to terminate the policies." What the heck? Mass Mutual was so furious. I give you a loan, you did not pay the premium, now you want to cancel. If you terminate the policy, what happened? You get the 1099. 1099 is come from Mass Mutual. This is the fourth mistake is what? He ignored the 1099 from the life insurance company because IRS received this. If you do not report that in your tax return, you automatically being flagged and it being audited. IRS said you have premium is $6,000, right, for the child, but you have all the compounding inside, and the difference, $16,000, is taxable income because that's why never let your policy lapse. If you lapse, all these capital gains become taxable. Don't do it. Right? Constantly pay that, religiously pay back your policy loan, pay back your premium. Do not let it lapse. So that's why he received two 1099, and IRS said you need to pay taxes, and he refused. And he refused taxes. Do you know what he said? He said, "I'm using this loan to build logging and a mining business." He said, "I'm using loan for business." This guy started to argue the business, and IRS said, "Okay, let's read IRS rule." The court said, Section 1C3 disallow a deduction of a personal interest paid for the year as any interest other than. Do you see the other than? Meaning what? If you have this kind of exceptions, you can deduct from your the policy loan. Otherwise, it's treated as a personal loan. And there are three. The first three I think is very relevant to us. Is what? If you borrow policy loan to put into trade or business, okay, meaning what? 3D printing, right? Dentist, because you are your owner, you're S corp owner. If you have that kind of situation, that loan is deductible because this core set is other than. Very important. Number two is what? Any investment interest. Investment interest is what? You buy crypto, you buy land, you buy oil and gas. If that kind of interest expenses is deductible from your return, from your partnership return. And the third one is what? If you any interest with taking into account and Section 49 computer income losses from the passive activity, what? Rental, right? Because rental is passive income. Remember three buckets? And the other D, E, F, I'm not so sure. I don't know how qualified interest for house is going to deduct. I don't know. Education, I don't think that's right. But anyway, to this purpose, we focus on three. The court said, as long as you can prove your money going into your trade or business, that interest from policy loan can be deducted. Beautiful. So now this taxpayer made a fourth mistake. He said, the petitioners said he is engaged with mining and lodging business, but offered no evidence. So that's another mistake. If you want to show IRS you use the money legitimately, you have to show the record, primaries and notes, the basis schedule, the repayment record. You need a whole evidence to show the money is going into the business. Unfortunately, this guy have no evidence, and he cannot even prove the loan is used to any trade. That's why when you fail to produce evidence to the IRS satisfaction, that kind of loans is not eligible because IRS is a personal loan. So this is a very important tax case, people, which is if you want to use it, you got to do it right. You set up a evidence, the loan agreement, promissory notes, the money come out, come in, payback cycle. Okay. You just cannot say, oh, I used the loan to buy a car, to buy a 3D printer. You have to show this evidence. So I think the takeaway for today's class is what? If you want to use this buy, borrow, build strategy to build a rental, to build your real estate, you have to have a clear account, and from life insurance to bank, from bank to your rental, from rental to back to a personal bank to the bank corp. So the whole cycle. I think this is probably I truly enjoy these tax court cases. We can tell you all the things we should avoid because that's court looking for this. Okay? If you cannot prove it, you don't have it. I think that's why these people didn't get any relief. So that's a huge reminder for people is you can do it, but do the right. Make sure you follow the right protocol. Okay, Yuan, I'm done with my 1 hour class. I'm going to open for questions.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Mike. And all right, I believe there are a couple questions posted in the chat box.
Okay. Look.
And the first one was from KL. How do we find out the interest rates to borrow money from permanent life insurance? Is it a fixed rate?
Yes, for whole life it's fixed. It's about 5.75%. My life insurance for New York Life is 5.3. I know people have IOL, you can do it. I think they have a fixed rate schedule, or you have a floating rate schedule. You have a wash loan. I think you can talk to your agent on this. I use fixed rate because why? I can estimate my cost. I know how much I owe every month, every year, and I can manage my budget. Floating rate make things very hard to manage. Okay, and that's one way. People talk about borrow money mortgage company, talk about that. My interest rate is 4.76. Oh, cool, good. And introduce, yeah, make sure you okay. Yeah, I think my guarding is 5% for some reason. Good for you, Fred. The people want to, if you want to go to these events, I think there's one in San Francisco, one in Washington State. And the topic is pretty decent. Steve Parisi is going to okay. Steve Parisi talk about life insurance of wealth building, and Brock is a lawyer. Elizabeth Morgan is he's Steve Parisi is a affiliation of the legal side, and I'm going to talk about tax. Use that to and we talk about Family Foundation, but probably too far. Okay, then we'll Q&A. And that's what we do. They provide dinner, they provide lunch if you want to come, and normally costs a lot of money, but talk to me and Steve, we can get you a free pass. So that is July and San Francisco, same topic. And any other questions? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Coach, do you want to let everybody know about the fly program that you're about to
Beautiful.
host for the youth?
Yeah, every year we have a summer camp called FLY, Financial Literacy for youngsters and gangsters. So last year is 360. Now inflation, I'm getting more expensive, so we're $400. For 6 weeks, we cover a whole list of things, college, how to deal with your college financing. I know with AI, I don't know, do you really need to go to UPenn? I don't know. And when you're 18, you need to do so many things, power of attorney, da, da, da. And I also highly recommend the campus rental because you buy college rental near Penn State, Michigan State, Pro State, Pro State，是的前列线上语言。然后 how to set up Roth IRA, how to the HSA for young people, cash value life insurance for young people, right? All the things we're going to cover. So when do we start again? Sometime in July, right? 6 weeks. I think we'll do cover in July. Do you?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. So 6 weeks.
Yeah, we will have the dates published soon, but yeah, the flyer that you see, it is from last year. I just want to let everybody know this is a very well received program, and all the students and parents had very positive comments, feedback to the program. And again, for the students who signed up and go through this program for the first time, they have learned what they can do themselves to finance their college expense rather than totally rely on their parents. So that is a very important, step towards independence. And just like Coach Mike said, and he not only, is also join him, and you see on their screen, this is the book that they are recently published.
Yeah, this is a new program. I'm going to give this book for free to the people registered. We don't have that last year. This year, I get a free book. Young people, sign up. So yes, you pay $400, you get a free book. Half of your money will donate it to Kappa or church or Boy Scout America, wherever you want to go. I think, Fred, your son was here last year. Fred, can you share your personal experience with your son's experience with us, Fred?
Yeah, I just texted in there. He learned so much, and in addition, he learned what he didn't know. So when he heard some topics he didn't really know about, he was able to ask me, and I was able to explain it to him. Because it's hard to know what your children know and don't know, especially when you're older, you've been in finance for a long time. You just assume everyone knows the basics, but you'd be surprised. Even 18-year-olds now, they don't know what I knew when I was 18. So it was really good to be able to help him. And he was exposed to a lot of things that I never even bring up with him. So it was a great class last year, and we really appreciated it. It was really well worth it.
And we have a case competition. Last year, Steve Parisi is the chief judge. Did your son get something? I forgot. So, but we have first place.
Yeah, I think he got something. I forget what. I think second or third place. Yes.
Yes. So pretty much the money, yeah, we get the $400, but half go to nonprofit. The other half we use as a bonus or cash award to the case competition, and you get a free book. When your son get an award, what do you do? Roth IRA, because earn income is award, is cash, earn income. Use your brain, right? So that is a good strategy. I don't make money on this because really help people to enlighten their financial wisdom. All right, people asked about what is security line. This is called pledge. There are different banks have this. One is I called Schwab. The other one is E-Trade. The third one I believe is Raymond James. Okay, Raymond James. Raymond James. Okay. If you see my screen, this is my book chapter. You have different schedule. You need to have at least $250,000 to start with, okay, at Schwab. For Fidelity, you have me know. That's a lot to start. That's why build a portfolio quick. The rate is not cheap. It's about SOFR plus a margin. SOFR stands for Secured Overnight Funding Rate. It's a Treasury overnight funding rate plus spread. So you put 7%. Um, then no fee, no credit score check. So that's why if you really want to use this kind of strategy, you need what? Make sure the money is at least can generate return over 7%, which is quite hard. For life insurance, much easier because you know your cost is 5.5 deducted from business, so really cost is only 4 or 5%. If you put the money, life insurance loan to put into HSA 529, Trump account, Trump IRA, that you can produce double digit. Remember, stock market has been growing 10% on average. So that's one way you can do that. Find out how do you eligible. For instance, can you do SpaceX? Anybody? What's the SpaceX? Is that this? Anybody? Okay.
No.
And how about Meta, right? Is it Meta? Facebook? Right, Facebook. All right. Okay, this no, this ETF not eligible. Sorry, there's not. What's the?
Yeah, I think SpaceX is SPACX, and I think Facebook now is Meta, META.
Okay, NVIDIA, SPACX, is that? Okay.
Yeah, and I think NVIDIA is NVDA.
I hope. All right, 75%. Sorry, okay. So NVIDIA, you can pledge, you can get out up to 75%, but don't do it. Why? This AI stock can be very volatile. You don't want to get margin call. So if you borrow life insurance, you definitely can borrow up to 95%, no problem, because they're so stable, so strong. For stocks, put a cushion there. Do not overborrow. Maybe borrow 7, no, 50%, 55% max. You never know the corrections, right? Because one single name stock can be tanked over 40%. You don't want to deal with that anxiety, panicking. But for S&P 500 is a little better because you can borrow at least at a decent price. Maybe 70% is okay. It's rarely have a margin call for S&P 500 because normally they will not drop by 30%. Okay, that's not the case. I don't want to talk. All right, people, we're done with 30 minutes. I really appreciate that people give me feedback. I put my email address as a help. You need to help me improve because this is so complicated topic. And if you want to educate people, I want you to be my first audience and tell me, Mike, this part is confusing. You need to slow down. Well, Mike, I don't like the joke you have. Prostate. So I've stopped. So anyway, just to give me some feedback, I want to I'm highly thankful for your helping me to become a better tax pro, help me to help more families because this is most accountants don't teach you this. It's just real stuff, but it's got to be careful. If you play with the fire, you know how to put down the fire. Otherwise, you'll be burned. Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Coach Mike, as always. And